Right now, as you sit there, there is a version of you that is a world-class trader. A version of you that is calm, patient, and follows every rule. But there is also another version of you lurking in the shadows. This version is impulsive, angry, and desperate. This second version of you is the one that is going to blow up your account. And the scary part? It has nothing to do with your strategy or the charts. It has everything to do with a hidden fuel tank inside your brain that you are currently running on empty. You've probably been told 1,000 times that trading is 90% psychology. You've heard the gurus talk about mindset and discipline until you're blue in the face. But nobody actually tells you what that looks like in the real world. Nobody tells you why you can be a perfectly rational human being at 9 a.m. and a reckless gambler by 2 p.m. Today, we are going to peel back the curtain. We are going to talk about the invisible resource that determines whether you become a millionaire or a statistic. We are going to talk about the internal battery that powers your ability to make good choices, and more importantly, how you are unknowingly destroying it every single day. Think about your phone for a second. When it's at 100%, it's fast. It handles every app you throw at it. It's bright, responsive, and reliable. But what happens when that battery hits 2%? The screen gets dim. The apps start lagging. Eventually, it just shuts down right when you need it most. Your brain works exactly the same way. Every time you wake up, you have a certain amount of decision-making juice. Every choice you make, from what shirt you wear to whether you should enter a trade, takes a little bit of that juice. In the trading world, we like to think we are machines. We think we can sit in front of 6 monitors for 12 hours a day and make perfect, logical decisions every single second. But you aren't a machine. You are a biological creature. And if you don't understand how to manage your biological fuel, you are basically trying to fly a plane with no gas. You might stay in the air for a while, but the crash isn't just a possibility, it's a mathematical certainty. Let's look at why most traders actually fail. It isn't because they don't have a good strategy. There are thousands of strategies out there that work. You can find them for free on the internet. The reason people fail is that they lose the ability to execute the strategy. They have a plan, but when the moment comes to pull the trigger, or more importantly, when the moment comes to not pull the trigger, their brain short-circuits. They know they should wait for the setup, but they click the button anyway. They know they should take the loss, but they move their stop-loss further away. They know they should stop for the day, but they keep trading. Why? Is it because they are stupid? No. It's because their mental battery is dead. They are trying to operate a high-risk, high-stress business while running on 0% power. When your mental power is gone, your civilized brain, the part that understands math and logic, goes to sleep. And when the civilized brain sleeps, the caveman brain wakes up. The caveman doesn't care about your trading plan. The caveman only cares about survival, fear, and greed. And the caveman will ruin your life in about 30 seconds if you let him take the wheel. Imagine a trader named Leo. Leo has spent months studying. He's got a solid strategy. He knows exactly what he's looking for. On Monday morning, Leo wakes up feeling great. His battery is at 100%. He sits down at his desk, waits for his setup, and takes a clean, beautiful trade. It's a win. He feels good. He takes another trade, and it's a small loss. No big deal. He's still in control. He's still the civilized version of himself. But then, life starts to happen. Leo gets a stressful email from his boss. His kid starts crying in the other room. He didn't sleep well the night before, so he's starting to feel that afternoon fog. Every one of these things is a leak in his battery. By 3 p.m., Leo is frustrated. He sees a trade that almost looks like his setup. Not quite, but close. Usually, he'd pass. But his battery is at 5%. His civilized brain is too tired to argue. The caveman brain sees the chart and thinks, I need to win. I need to feel good again. Click the button. Leo clicks. The trade goes against him. Now, the caveman is panicked. The caveman doesn't want to lose. So instead of closing the trade, Leo adds more money to the position. He tells himself he's averaging down, but he's really just gambling because he's too mentally exhausted to accept the truth. An hour later, his account is down 40%. Leo sits back, staring at the screen in a daze, wondering, who was that person who just made those trades? That wasn't me. But it was him. It was the version of him that exists when the battery is dead. And this is the cycle that kills 90% of traders. They spend all their time studying the charts, but they spend zero time studying the person behind the charts. They don't realize that their most valuable asset isn't the money in their brokerage account. It's the mental energy in their head. If you lose your money, you can always make more. But if you lose your mental clarity, you will keep losing money until you have nothing left. Professional traders, the ones who actually do this for a living, don't look at the market the same way you do. They don't see it as a place to get rich quick. They see it as a high-performance environment, like an operating room for a surgeon or a cockpit for a fighter pilot. Do you think a surgeon would walk into a 10-hour heart surgery after staying up all night, arguing with their spouse, and drinking 5 cups of coffee to hide the exhaustion? Of course not. They know they would make a mistake. And in surgery, a mistake means someone dies. In trading, a mistake means your capital dies. The pros treat their lives like they are professional athletes. They are obsessed with protecting their mental battery. They know that a single bad decision made in a state of exhaustion can undo 6 months of hard work. Think about that for a second. You could work perfectly for half a year, building your account bit by bit, and you can destroy it all in one afternoon because you were too tired to say no to a bad trade. That is the reality of this business. So, how do you protect this battery? How do you make sure you're always operating as the best version of yourself? It starts with realizing that everything is connected. You cannot separate your trading from your life. If your life is a mess, your trading will be a mess. If you are stressed about your bills, if you are fighting with your family, if you are neglecting your health, you are draining your battery before you even look at a single candlestick. The biggest lie in trading is that you can leave your emotions at the door. Your brain doesn't have a trading mode and a life mode. It's all one system. If you spend your whole morning in traffic, getting angry and stressed, you are arriving at your trading desk with a half-empty battery. You might think you're fine, but you're not. You're already at a disadvantage. You're already closer to that caveman state than you realize. This is why many of the best traders in the world actually trade less than the amateurs. The amateur thinks that more trades equals more money. They think they need to be in every move. They are like a soldier who spends the whole day firing their gun at nothing, just because they like the sound of the shots. By the time the real enemy shows up, they have no ammo left. The professional is different. They are like a sniper. They spend 90% of their time waiting. They are preserving their mental ammo. They know that every trade they take, whether it wins or loses, costs them a huge amount of mental energy. They don't want to waste that energy on maybe trades. They only want to spend it on the A-plus setups. They would rather wait 3 days to take one perfect trade than take 20 mediocre trades in a single afternoon. They understand that their decision-making juice is a finite resource. Once it's gone, they are done for the day. We also have to talk about the danger of winning. This is something that confuses a lot of people. Everyone knows that losing hurts. Losing drains your battery because it causes stress and pain. But winning drains your battery too, just in a different way. When you win a trade, your brain gets hit with a massive wave of dopamine. It feels amazing. It's like a drug. And just like a drug, it clouds your judgment. When you're on a winning streak, you start to feel invincible. You start to think the rules don't apply to you anymore. You think you've figured it out. This is called positive depletion. Your battery isn't being drained by sadness. It's being drained by excitement. Managing that excitement, staying grounded, and forcing yourself to stick to the plan when you feel like a genius takes an incredible amount of mental energy. This is why you see so many traders have a green morning and a red afternoon. They win early, they get high on their own success, their battery drains from the excitement, and then they give all the money back and more, because they became overconfident and sloppy. If you want to survive in this game, you need to build circuit breakers into your life. A circuit breaker is something that stops the flow of electricity before the whole house burns down. In trading, your circuit breakers are your rules. But here is the catch. Your rules only work if you have the mental energy to follow them. This is the paradox of trading. You need the rules most when your battery is low, But when your battery is low, you are least likely to follow the rules. This is why you have to make your rules absolute. They cannot be suggestions. They have to be laws. For example, many pros have a 2 losses and I'm out rule. It doesn't matter if the market looks perfect. It doesn't matter if they know the next trade is a winner. If they hit 2 losses, they shut down the computer and walk away. Why? Because they know that 2 losses have drained their mental battery to the point where they can no longer be trusted. They are protecting themselves from the caveman. They are acknowledging that they are human and that their brain is currently compromised. Walking away is the most powerful skill you can ever learn in trading. It's also the hardest. We are taught from a young age that winners never quit and hard work solves everything. In almost every other job, if you want to make more money, you work more hours. If you want to get better at a sport, you practice longer. But trading is the only profession where the more you work, the more money you can actually lose. In trading, hard work doesn't happen during market hours. Hard work happens before the market opens. It happens when you're journaling your trades, when you're studying your mistakes, and when you're working on your own physical and mental health. Once the market is open, you aren't working anymore, you are executing. And execution requires a full battery. If you aren't feeling 100%, the most productive thing you can do is absolutely nothing. Let's talk about the physical side of this, because people often forget that the brain is a physical organ. It needs fuel. If you're dehydrated, your cognitive function drops. If you're eating junk food that causes your blood sugar to spike and crash, your emotional stability will spike and crash too. If you haven't moved your body all day, your stress levels will stay high. I've seen traders who have $10,000 setups, the best computers, the fastest internet, the fancy chairs, but they are treating their bodies like a trash can. They wonder why they keep making emotional mistakes. It's because their brain is literally starving for proper fuel. You cannot make high-level financial decisions if your body is in a state of chronic inflammation and fatigue. It's impossible. You might get lucky for a day or two, but eventually, your physiology will catch up to you. The most successful traders I know have a routine that looks more like a monk's than a Wall Street shark's. They prioritize sleep above everything else. They know that 7 or 8 hours of deep sleep is what recharges that decision-making battery. They meditate to train their minds to observe emotions without acting on them. They exercise to burn off the cortisol that builds up during the trading day. They eat clean because they want their brain to be a high-performance machine. They also have a life outside of trading. This is a big one. If trading is the only thing you have in your life, then every loss feels like a personal attack. If your self-worth is tied to your P&L, you will never be a successful trader. Why? Because you will be too afraid to lose. And if you are afraid to lose, you will drain your battery 10 times faster than someone who doesn't care. When you have a hobby, a family, or a passion outside of the charts, a losing day is just a losing day. It doesn't mean you're a loser. It just means the market didn't provide an opportunity today. This emotional distance is what keeps your battery full. It's the armor that protects you from the daily ups and downs of the market. The amateur is on a roller coaster, screaming when it goes up, crying when it goes down. The professional is standing on the ground, watching the roller coaster, and deciding if they want to get on for a few minutes when the odds are in their favor. Another thing that drains your battery is information overload. We live in the age of constant noise. You have Twitter, Discord, YouTube, Telegram, and 24-hour news cycles all screaming at you. Every one of those voices is trying to tell you what to do. Every time you read a hot take or a price prediction, your brain has to process it. It has to decide, is this true? Should I change my plan? Am I missing out? This is mental friction. And friction burns fuel. The more people you follow, the more opinions you listen to, the faster your battery drains. This is why elite traders often simplify everything. They might only look at 1 or 2 charts. They might mute all social media during market hours. They want to eliminate as much noise as possible so they can focus all their mental energy on their own process. They don't want to know what everyone else is doing. They only want to know what they are doing. Think of your mental energy like a bucket of water. Every decision is a small hole in the bucket. Every stressor is a slightly larger hole. If you have 50 holes in your bucket, It doesn't matter how much water you pour in at the beginning of the day, you'll be empty by noon. Your job is to plug the holes. Simplify your life. Simplify your trading. Get rid of the things that don't serve you. I want you to really think about your last big loss. Not a planned loss, but one of those ugly, account-destroying losses. The ones where you went on tilt. What was happening in your life that day? Did you sleep well? Were you stressed about something else? Had you been sitting at the screen for 6 hours without a break? Had you just come off a big win and felt like you could do no wrong? If you're honest with yourself, you'll realize that the market didn't take your money. You gave it to the market. You gave it away because you were in a state of mental bankruptcy. You were trying to spend money you didn't have, mental money. And when you run out of mental money, the market will come to collect its debt. This is why journaling is so important. But don't just journal your entries and exits. That's only half the story. You need to journal yourself. How did you feel when you woke up? What was your energy level on a scale of 1 to 10? What was your mood? Did you follow your rules? If you didn't, why? Over time, you will start to see patterns. You'll see that your biggest losses always happen on Tuesdays when you're tired from a long Monday. Or you'll see that you always blow up after 3 wins in a row. Once you see the patterns, you can build systems to stop them. You can say, I am statistically more likely to fail when I am in this state, so I will simply not trade when I am in this state. That is what true discipline looks like. It's not about being tough. It's about being smart enough to know when you are weak. It's about having the humility to admit that you are not a machine. The best traders are the ones who have the most self-awareness. They know their triggers. They know their limits. And they respect those limits like their life depends on it, because their trading life does depend on it. A lot of people think that to be a great trader, you have to be some kind of cold, emotionless robot. That's not true. You're never going to stop being human. You're always going to feel fear. You're always going to feel greed. You're always going to feel the sting of a loss. The goal isn't to stop feeling those things. The goal is to make sure you have enough mental fuel to notice those feelings and say, I see you, but I'm not going to let you drive the car today. That noticing is what we call consciousness. And consciousness takes energy. When you are tired, you lose your consciousness. You become reactive. You become an animal. You become the caveman. The entire game of trading is simply keeping your civilized brain powered up long enough to catch a good move in the market. That's it. It's not about being the smartest person in the room. It's about being the most awake person in the room. Imagine you are a gardener. Your trading account is a small, delicate plant. Your mental energy is the water. If you water the plant every day, it grows. If you forget to water it, it wilts. But what most traders do is they try to pour a whole bucket of water on the plant once a month and then wonder why it dies. Or worse, they pour boiling water on it because they're angry. Consistency is the key. Small, daily habits that keep your battery charged. It's not about one big aha moment. It's about the boring stuff. It's about going to bed at 10 p.m. It's about drinking water. It's about taking a walk. It's about closing the laptop when you're up for the day, even if you want to keep playing. These are the things that make a millionaire. Not the indicator, not the news, not the secret strategy. If you can master your own energy, the market becomes much easier. Suddenly, you don't feel the need to chase every candle. You don't feel the panic when a trade goes against you. You realize that there will always be another trade, another day, another opportunity. But there is only one you. And if you break your mind, you can't just buy a new one. I want you to stop thinking of yourself as a trader for a moment. Instead, think of yourself as a performance manager. Your job is to manage the performance of a very talented, but very temperamental athlete, the version of you that trades. Your job is to make sure that athlete is fed, rested, and in the right headspace to perform. If the athlete is struggling, you don't scream at them. You don't force them to play harder. You pull them off the field and let them rest. If you can do that, if you can truly become your own manager, you will be ahead of 99% of the people in this market. Most people are just athletes with no coach. They run until they collapse. They play until they're injured. They destroy themselves because they don't know how to stop. Be the coach. Be the manager. Be the one who protects the asset. As we wrap this up, I want you to take a deep breath. Look at your hands. Look at the screen. Remember that this is just a game. It's a game of numbers, yes. It's a game of charts, yes. But more than anything, it's a game of self-preservation. The market is a giant mirror. It will show you exactly who you are. If you are a person who doesn't respect themselves, the market will show you that by taking your money. If you are a person who is greedy and impatient, the market will show you that too. But if you are a person who is disciplined, self-aware, and protective of their own well-being, the market will eventually reward you with more money than you know what to do with. Not because the market is fair. The market isn't fair. The market is a meat grinder. But the market can only grind up the people who throw themselves into it. If you stay back, if you wait for your moments, and if you keep your battery full, you aren't the meat, you're the operator of the machine. Starting today, I want you to treat your mental battery as your most precious possession. Guard it with your life. Don't let social media drain it. Don't let toxic people drain it. Don't let almost setups drain it. Wake up every day with the goal of being the most well-rested, most balanced person on the charts. When you sit down at your desk, ask yourself, how much juice do I have in the tank right now? If the answer is, not much, then do yourself a favor and stay away. The market doesn't care if you trade today. It doesn't miss you. It will be there tomorrow, and the day after that, and for the next 100 years. Your account is a reflection of your mental health. If you want to see your account grow, you have to grow as a person. You have to become the kind of person who is worthy of carrying a large amount of capital. And that kind of person is someone who knows how to manage themselves. So, shut down the charts for a while. Go outside. Talk to someone you love. Eat a good meal. Get some sleep. Recharge that battery. Because the version of you that wakes up tomorrow with a full charge is the one who is going to make the dreams come true. The version of you that is currently staring at the screen with tired eyes and a racing heart? That person needs to go to bed. You have the power to change your trading career starting this very second. It's not about a new strategy. It's not about more leverage. It's about the decision to protect the ghost in the machine, the beautiful, complex, and finite mind that makes all of this possible. Protect your battery. Protect your peace. And the market will eventually have no choice but to pay you what you are worth. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. Now, go do the one thing most traders are too afraid to do. Go take care of yourself. We'll see you in the next one, with a full tank and a clear mind. Until then, stay disciplined, stay patient, and most importantly, stay human.